so Warframe finally caught up to me. In case you've been living under a rock for the past 10 or so years and have no idea what I'm talking about, Warframe is a fast-paced, power fantasy, third-person sci-fi action RPG horde-based looter-shooter. Ish. You know what, it's actually kind of difficult to pigeonhole this game into a specific genre. But putting that to one side for now, Warframe is without a shadow of a doubt one of the best free-to-play experiences I've had from a video game in a very, very long time. There is a seemingly endless amount of content here. One minute I'm grinding out materials to build my next weapon, and the next I'm being sucked into a AAA story, full of lore, twists, turns, and even heart-wrenching moments. Since Warframe's launch, I've tried the game maybe 2 or 3 times, and it's just never stuck with me. Friends often said to me, "Oh, you should play Warframe, it's a really great game.
Come play with us.
Trust me bro, you'll love it." And each time, I've downloaded it, installed it, played it for a few hours, then uninstalled again, feeling a little lost and confused about what I was supposed to be doing. Well, as it turns out, it wasn't that I didn't like Warframe, I just needed to give it a little more time before I fell in love with it. Even though there are 55 frames and over 500 unique weapons for you to acquire and master, in addition to account and story progression, in the early days it's not easy to understand how progression actually works. But what do I mean by this? Well, let me break this down into 3 sections, starting with Warframes and weapons. Let's say you found a frame that you really like. Their playstyle matches yours, you like their abilities, and they have cool skins.
Nice.
Well, good news. You can absolutely use this frame to carry you to the end game and beyond. Pretty much every frame in Warframe is capable of running all content. It may be easier with some frames than others, but each frame has their own unique area in which they shine. Once you've selected your frame of choice, you'll start equipping it with mods, which you will, in turn, upgrade. These mods can completely change the way your frame plays, by improving stats or by changing how your abilities work. Eventually, you'll replace these mods with slightly improved or alternative versions, or you might change them completely when trying out a different build. You can add an Orokin reactor to your frame to grant you more mod slots, or you can change the polarity of specific slots to cut the equip costs of mods in half. These same rules apply for weapons and follow a similar format. I should probably add that some frames and weapons have a prime variant. These variations often act the same as their non-prime counterparts, but have a very minor boost to their stats, mod slots, and often look a little different. Modding your weapons and frames may seem daunting at first, but there's no rush to understand it straight away, as Warframe has a very long and slow difficulty curve. You'll likely be stomping a lot of the content in the early stages, but as things get progressively harder, you should start to be able to identify the problems in your build and make any relevant changes. When it comes to account and story progression, they are sort of one of the same thing. Any form of progression in Warframe often causes an indirect form of progression somewhere else in the game. For example, working your way through the star chart means you'll eventually unlock Mars, and soon after Deimos. Unlocking Deimos allows you to grind reputation to build a necromech, which in turn is needed to complete the New War story. Completing main story and side quests allows new Warframes, weapons, and features to be unlocked. Some examples being the Helminth, which is used to power up your Warframe even further by taking Warframe abilities and injecting them into your own. The K-Drive, which lets you feel like you're playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, or unlocking Limbo, the Warframe who has the ability to travel between the void and material planes. The last piece of account progression I should probably mention is Mastery rank. By reaching level 30 with weapons and Warframes, you slowly increase your account's Mastery rank. Every level gives you some minor account-wide bonuses to help improve your power, as well as a plaque that you can place anywhere you like in your orbiter. Next though, we have the problem. It's kind of the reason the game never stuck with me the first few times I tried it. The game doesn't really give you any real guidance on how to upgrade your gear, nor does it give you any real reason to need a stronger setup in the early stages of the game. Upon getting a frame and all my weapons to level 30, I didn't feel like I needed to upgrade anything for a long time, and things began to feel a little bit stale. Like I mentioned earlier though, Warframe has a very long and slow difficulty curve, meaning it takes a very long time before things actually start to get tougher. I often hear jokes about how you're only playing the tutorial until you reach the Steel Path, and whilst that's not completely true, I can certainly see where they're coming from. Whilst this is a problem, it's not a problem that exists forever, as the game does become more challenging later on, and as you become more familiar with the game, you'll discover all the different avenues that you can take to power up your frame or weapons. I also feel like I should briefly touch on the monetization model in Warframe, as it is a free-to-play game after all. Being free-to-play would normally lead people to believe that there's a constant cash grab pop-up or predatory tactics being used to get you to part with your hard-earned cash. Well, not in Warframe. In fact, Warframe is one of the least money-grabbing free-to-play games that I've played in a long time. Platinum is the premium currency, and with it you can purchase skins, mods, attachments, weapons, warframes, and speed up your forge. But Connor, you mentioned buying weapons and warframes. Isn't that pay to win? Well, yes, but actually no. Everything in Warframe can be obtained by playing the game. In addition to that, almost every item in-game, including Platinum, can be traded with other players. Of course, trading is merely a shortcut to getting the mods and frames that you want. Every item, excluding cosmetics, are attainable through different means of gameplay. Another aspect of Warframe that blew me away is the sense of community that surrounds this game. Whilst there are some areas of the community that I'd rather not think about, the majority of forum posts and Twitch streamers that I've interacted with have been more than happy to help answer my questions. The developers themselves regularly stream and interact with their community by running competitions, looking at fan art, and even playing Warframe with the viewers. These streams often feature the CEO of Digital Extremes, Steve Sinclair. In my opinion, having a CEO regularly interacting with the community really goes to show just how in tune they are with their player base, and proves that they are listening to what we have to say. Warframe has been able to not just retain, but actually grow a steady player base since its launch in 2013, and I can totally see why. It's been an incredible overall experience so far, and I'm honestly in disbelief that this is a free-to-play game. The early stages of the game do feel slow, and the story does appear to be lacking, but after reaching the new war quest, I was completely hooked. The cinematics and storytelling are the sort that you would come to expect from a AAA title, and have left me desperate for more. I can't wait to see what the next patch, Warframe 1999, brings. I'm 40 hours in already, and I'm still unlocking new features, learning things, and struggling to decide which frame is my favourite. Though I think I'm getting closer to deciding.